Bidoof and I welcome you to our mid-season showdown final. This is going to be an exciting match. We have Junxi who just won the last match against Giovanni Costa, and a little fun fact, this is his third top 2 in a row. He's made top cut this tournament and the last 2. He's going for a 3-peat championship. He's won the last 2 tournaments, and it's with the team you see on screen. He's facing Brian Collins with that classic size spam team. On the left is Junxi with Amoongus, Urshifu, Rapid, Porygon 2, Landorus, Incarnates, Incineroar, and Golden Go. Brian on the right with Hatterene, Indeedee Female, Torkoal, Urshifu Single Strike, Ogerpon Cornerstone, and Gallade. Instantly, first thing I see, these are 2 relatively slow teams. You take a look, obviously there's fast options on both, but Amoongus, Porygon 2, Incineroar, relatively slow. Obviously it's a Trick Room side for Brian, but there are a couple fast choices. Interestingly enough, we have the Urshifu Rapid Strike, which is Choice Scarf. We have Ogerpon Cornerstone, which usually is max speed. And we have Golden Go, which is like middling speed, but same thing goes for the Urshifu Single Strike. We did see that was relatively slow in the last match that Brian had participated in, and it allowed an Indeedee to go ahead and just get rid of it. So that's going to be something to pay attention to. However, it's something that would outspeed the Porygon 2. But we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Trick Room shenanigans, maybe Trick Room reversing shenanigans, maybe some Hatterene, Expanding Force, Torkoal, Incineroar, Golden Go, Make It Rain. I don't know. It's all over the place. There's so many different options with this team. But like I said, Hatterene is one of those options. And we're going to see it with Indeedee instantly. And there's the Amoongus, like I just said. But partnered with the, there's the Golden Go I just said, which partnered with Amoongus. And that is going to be the 2 leads. A very good lead on both sides, actually, because Amoongus is a big threat right away, has the potential for Spore. I wouldn't be surprised if Hatterene just goes straight up Psychic, Expanding Force, while Indeedee goes for the Trick Room, and we possibly see Amoongus Terra here to avoid that. Could also see Golden Go for a Make It Rain right away, forcing the Hatterene to Terra, or a switch in for maybe something like Torkoal. There's so many different options that I wouldn't be surprised to see a switch in and eventual Trick Room from the Indeedee, but we're going to see a Terra right away. It's the Amoongus. It's going to Water, does not want to get hit by an Expanding Force, and it also confirms this Hatterene staying in as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that Terra just to avoid the Make It Rain damage, and there it is, yeah. So, no surprise there, because you definitely do not want to go down to Make It Rain turn 1 with one of your big sweepers, the other, of course, being Torkoal on Brian's side. There's a Terra to Psychic. The question now becomes, how much does a Make It Rain Metal Coat, boosted Make It Rain specifically, do onto Brian's Hatterene? And it's going to be a follow me. Obviously, it's not going to be great, but I wouldn't be surprised right now if we actually just see a Trick Room. Oh, Nasty Paw for Junxi. So doesn't want to take the attack right away. That's fine. The Spore is obvious onto the Indeedee because you follow me. So most likely the Hatterene's going to go for Trick Room. There it is, yeah. So the question now becomes, how much does Expanding Force do? I think that's really just the play. I think Amoongus really should switch, maybe. It's gonna do a lot of damage onto it. It could, but then it could put the Hatterene to sleep, and there's a good chance it'll live at least one of these. But I'm not sure exactly what the right call is, because Hatterene's in a spot where, okay, Amoongus is going to switch out. Hatterene's in a spot, though, that it's difficult. You can go for an Expanding Force. That'll help it, especially with Incineroar coming out. But this is a +2 Golden Go now, and it's just scary to deal with in general. A Golden Go is one of the Pokemon that every time it's kind of written off at the beginning of the format, and then someone's like, you know what, no, it's good again, and boom, it's been shining. I mean, Junxi's already won 2 championships with this team, so... And we're going to see Torkoal come on in. So if Make It Rain is going to come out from Junxi's side, it's going to get punished with Torkoal ready to Eruption. But Innocent Choice specs Torkoal, keep that in mind. But there is the Expanding Force. Not going to do anything on the Incineroar thanks to that immunity, but it's going to do over half on the Golden Go. Well, Golden Go is going to be able to retaliate with a Shadow Ball onto the Torkoal slot. That is actually quite solid, actually, in my opinion, because it's going to be able to knock it out after a +2. I thought Torkoal was going to be able to take that with slight health there, but nope. That Golden Go just shut Torkoal down. The bad news is now that this Golden Go is going to go down to another Expanding Force. And with Urshifu coming into play, it's really not a position that you want to see, because it can just go for a close combat and get rid of your Incineroar. And we do know, I'm not sure if Junxi knows this, but we do know from previous matches that this is a slower Urshifu, so it may actually outspeed the Incineroar and just get rid of it in close combat turn 1. So I think the play right now is to go ahead and swap out. If you're Junxi, I think it's a tough spot, really tough spot. gotta kind of have to sacrifice something here. Amoonguss, even Terra Water, and Porygon are all gonna take a lot of damage from an Expanding Force, Hatterene, that's Terra Psychic, and Life Orb. And then Urshifu just does damage. Like, it comes in and just chips whatever it needs to, and it's slower, so it's gonna be able to chip whatever it needs. So I think you just gotta stall at the Trick Room, so Protect is very valid there. Expanding Force is most likely the play here, yeah, so that's not gonna do anything, but I do think... I think a Flare Blitz is coming out, but I think that this Urshifu is faster in Trick Room and is going to be able to get rid of the Incineroar. No, it goes straight for the parting shot onto the Incineroar. From the Incineroar onto the Urshifu. It's decent play, but it does have Wicked Blow, and if this Wicked Blow was... I was expecting close combat, which is potential, but... And knowing the Expanding Force came out, I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But if we see a Wicked Blow onto this Golden Go, that was a big call from Brian. That's going to benefit tremendously. Close combat's going to be... It is close combat. And it's -1, so it's not going to really do much onto Amoonguss. That's 50%. Solid. And now it is susceptible to any attack. And it's going to get Rocky Helmet damage as well. Not a great play. I mean, it was the safe play. It was a play I would have probably made as well if I was in Brian's shoes, but it does just enough to where it's scary. I think Amoonguss kind of... I would switch Amoonguss out into Incineroar, get another Intimidate out on Urshifu, as well as, you know, at this point that this Golden Go is going down. I would actually swap the Hatterene out, knowing that it's targeted. And I would probably just kind of be like... Because the Trick Room's going to end very soon. Maybe switch to Urshifu out and Expanding Force, knowing that you're going to be able to get in the free Expanding Force, but... it's tough because you lost your Torkoal, and that was a big... Well, like I said, that's one of the two main sweepers on Brian's side, the Torkoal and the Hatterene. So Urshifu's going to be able to chip some damage with Wicked Blow, but it's not great into Incineroar, especially with Intimidates out. This Golden Go could switch and survive, but I think you just click Expanding Force with your Hatterene and just kind of... Yeah, there's not much you can do here. Porygon 2 coming out, which is a very good play there, because you are going to take some really... It hits very well. Porygon 2 is incredibly bulky, and it gets a special attack boost, which is huge. Expanding Force not going to do a ton onto either, and actually we're going to see this Urshifu stay in. But if it's going to go for a close combat onto one of these two, it will be super effective, which is good. And Porygon takes a lot of damage. It is very bulky, but that's what happens. And it's actually just going to get close combated as well and gets knocked out. That's what happens when you face a Hatterene in the Psychic terrain with the Life Orb. And now I understand why we saw that stay in on the Urshifu. You really want to just reset your terrain. That's what NDD is there to do. Obviously, the Trick Room is going to come out eventually, and you're going to have to reset it. But NDD is asleep. But just getting to the Psychic terrain is going to be very important. Right now, you do have one turn of Trick Room, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Amoonguss come on in and just go ahead and put the left side to sleep to ensure that it stays asleep while Incineroar goes for a Flare Blitz onto the Hatterene slot. Hatterene can't really do too much onto Incineroar. That's its main downfall. Expanding Force and Dazzling Gleam just don't do much. And obviously, Expanding Force is Incineroar is immune to, and Dazzling Gleam being the other stab move. Incineroar is usually bulky enough to take that in spades, so it's gonna just be able to sit there pretty, doing what it does. It's got Citrus Berry to take some hits as well. Well, Golden Go comes on in, and I think it's the right play to protect, so you can stall at the Trick Room. But I think there's a couple options here. I mean, you could go for the close combat onto Incineroar to chip it, and then Dazzling Gleam as well, knowing that a protect is possible. Go for Expanding Force, expecting a switch out. Go into NDD. I think you kind of have to stay in right now just to reset that terrain when the time comes, but it's a tough spot. It's a really tough spot for all the players here. Yeah, I don't really know what the best play is here. I think, yeah, it's a tough one. You really do have to reset Urshifu's, because it is a choice band Urshifu. I think you gotta reset that, but you also are gonna lose the train, which is really kind of disappointing. Especially because this Hatterene is Golden Go, which is not great, and the Trick Room, I mean, the Protect was obvious, so I don't really blame what happens here. I believe we were going to see a Flare Blitz, yeah. Question is, which one does it hit? Both are options, and NDD is going to take it. Sad thing is, NDD, now it's such a tough spot. Incineroar does take Rocky Helmet damage, but the Trick Room's expired now, and that's not great, because NDD is asleep. And so I think the bet is to go for a Follow Me and go into Urshifu. I think if you're Junxi, you double up, you make it rain right now, and then just Flare Blitz onto the right side here. I don't think Urshifu's going to take it. I think Junxi's really just commanded with Golden Go. Golden Go is just so much fun. I really love Golden Go. It does so much damage. We're going to see that right now. It's going to go first. make it rain. If it is neutral and it's special attack, that's actually very important. But I believe the Flare Blitz on the Incineroar is just going to pick up the KO on Brian's side anyways. But yeah, that was it. It will. But if the Urshifu survived, that would have been very important because the Psychic Terrain expired, so you could have been able to go for a Sucker Punch eventually. But it doesn't matter because it's now Hatterene against the world, and the world happens to have a super effective move against it. And it was I think really the big play that was disappointing for Brian's side is getting that Torkoal knocked out early. That was such a huge detrimental play because Golden Go, yeah, it took a lot of damage from Expanding Force and obviously of Urshifu, but it's got Protect and enough ways to stall out Trick Room that it's just, this is a brutal team to face. I mean, Junxi's team won twice already, and it's going for its third, and now just one win away from a three-peat of championships. And so I think it's very obvious that this team is well built for all kinds of teams. The question now becomes, how do you beat it? I don't know if anyone's really cracked that code yet, to be honest. I mean, we've seen Junxi maybe has lost a couple, but at the end just takes the matches and knows what to do. It's a combination of building a really bulky and offensive team, and you see that. Incineroar is a great example of that, as being bulky and offensive. Landorus is offensive. Golden Go, another bulky offense. Porygon, super bulky, and then you just mix in expert playing to understand when to bring out the bulk, when to bring out the offense, and that's really what Junxi's team has been expert at. And Porygon too, I gotta give it props to that. I mean, we saw how much that took from a Hatterene, Expanding Force, Terra Psychic, Life Orb, and it was a lot. It took like you have to do all of that just to chip Porygon to half. So it's such a scary Pokemon to play against. Will it come out this match? I don't know. I feel like, well, I do know, but as we just saw Junxi lock in, but I do think it is one of those positions where it didn't do much on this matchup in general, so it may have been smart to go for Landorus and put some more offensive pressure on the field, or even just put Urshifu Rapid Strike on, but I think we saw the Landorus come in. If you're Brian, I don't even know what you do. It's a brutal matchup for you because Golden Go just kind of beats Saipan right now. Obviously, if you could get your Torkoal into position, you're really safe. I wouldn't even be surprised right now if we see NDD lead with Torkoal, but we're gonna see NDD and Urshifu lead. That's a very valid lead as well. And Amoonguss and Golden Go. This is a very good lead. Actually, I have to admit, it's a good lead for Brian. The only thing is, this NDD is susceptible to Spore, and that's not fun. Nothing on, I think right now, looking at what Brian could potentially have in the back, if you did bring out the Ogerpon, now's the time to show that. You really got to focus on getting rid of that Amoonguss. And I think, but then the thing is, if you do, you have Golden Go ready to go, setting up Nasty Plot, so and you are faster than it, and so it's a really interesting spot. There's also the option that you could just go for the hit on Golden Go right away. It is Terra Dragon, so it will take a Wicked Blow, but 2 Wicked Blows, it won't take. And that also forces a Amoonguss to go for a Rage Powder. So it's one of those things where it's a 50-50 call, but I think the Spore is definitely potentially going to come out. I think it's a safer play. And Hatterene going to switch in. If Make It Rain, if Junxi went for Make It Rain, that's big. We're going to see a Terra right away. I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that this Terra is the Grass Terra on Urshifu to prevent the Spore, obviously, and Redirection. But did the redirection happen or is it a Spore? I think we're going to see a Spore on Hatterene, but we'll see. There's that Make It Rain. No redirection. It does pick up the knockout on Hatterene right away. Shows you how much Metal Golden Go does. I mean, it's insane. And it did a really good amount onto that Urshifu. It will go for the Wicked Blow. Picks the knockout on Golden Go. But I believe we are going to see Spore, but it's not really going to matter. It's a trade-off. I think it's a valid trade-off, I'm not gonna lie, because it's really solid. The Spore obviously is not gonna connect, and now you're in a spot where Landorus does outspeed, so you're really free to just go for a Sludge Bomb and have fun, or go into Incineroar and Intimidate. It's a really good position to Junxi. I think the trade-off was better in Junxi's position here. Landorus is just a safer bet, though. You have to go NDD, though, and I think the Spore, the hard part is, what's coming out, right? There's really... I think there's one play, but I think Junxi's gonna call it, which is with the sub, but that'd be Helping Hand Sucker Punch. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. I think you got a Helping Hand. You have to Helping Hand and Wicked Blow onto the Amoonguss and just hope you don't get spored. That's really it's tough, but you have to. Because if Junxi's put himself in a position where you cannot get your Torkoal out, which is a huge sweeper, there's that Helping Hand. It is Choice Band as well, so it's gonna go for Wicked Blow. There's the substitute. Does this connect with the Amoonguss? If it does, it's not actually a horrible spot for Brian. Wicked Blow does connect with the Amoonguss. One hit KO with a Helping Hand and Choice Band. It will take Rocky Helmet damage, but that did so much. I'm actually shocked at that. And now you remove one of the most important things here, which is that Spore potential for Trick Room. That's huge. And actually, I think you just, right now with Urshifu, you get rid of Landorus's substitute and you set up Trick Room. And then you Helping Hand Helping Hand Eruption and pray pray to Arceus that you do not lose, because I believe Torkoal is the last Pokemon. We actually have not seen it, but it makes sense based on the Pokemon that Brian's brought out so far. Meanwhile, Junxi down to his last two, but it's a really good last two. I think you gotta go for an Earth Power on Indeedee and a it's so tough. You gotta go for Earth Power on Indeedee, and this Incineroar does have knockoff, so double up on Indeedee. The thing with Indeedee right now is it's Rocky Helmet, so there's a really good chance that these two are going to go down, or let Indeedee go down. So I don't know. I think you really just got to, yeah, Earth Power going to come out first. I think you got to Wicked Blow the Landorus, because if not, you double up on the Indeedee, he's going to get rid of it. But if not, you get your Trick Room up. So Wicked Blow does get rid of Landorus as substitute. That's very important. Because if you do not get rid of, if the Indeedee stays in, there's a shot that Brian could still take this off. The knockoff does get rid of it. Okay. Okay. It's a very interesting call. How much does Wicked Blow do? That's now the question. You are slower. I think right now, I think this game's still Junxi's. I really do. It's Torkoal, it's Specs Torkoal and Band Urshifu, so you gotta pick your moves wisely. Who do you hit? I think if you're Landorus, you just go for the hit on Torkoal Earth Power it. I think you got a Sucker Punch. Oh, there's a forfeit. Junxi is gonna win it. Okay, I was expecting a Sucker Punch onto the Landorus and hope for a crit, but no. Brian decides it's over, and Junxi has won 3 in a row and is becoming quickly the SoCal champion, the player to beat with this amazing team. And again, I think one thing that I said it earlier, you don't know what's coming out, and that's what's scary. Junxi knows the team very well, and no matter how much you play against it, this has been 3 tournaments now in a row. It's so brutal to beat because there is stall with Porygon and Amoonguss, there is setup with Golden Go, there is pure offense with Urshifu and Landorus. There's so many options to lead or switch, and it doesn't matter what you're facing. There is a counter, and Junxi knows it, and you may not, because it could be not the obvious play. There's so much complexity to this team that is amazing, and partnered with the most important thing, a real knowledge of how to play it. I mean, Junxi made some calls that were spectacular. Not to say that Brian didn't do good. Brian played amazingly today as well. Obviously, side spam with Galley. We saw some really nice calls with Wide Guard earlier with him on stream. Hatterene doing so much damage on the Golden Go. And that's something, again, that always comes with experience, knowing those calculations. And with side spam, it's one of those teams that you really just got to get your setup rolling. And we saw that with Brian's team. Brian knew exactly what to do with the Urshifu, with the Hatterene, with the Torkoal, knew who his sweepers were, and knew when to bring them out. Junxi just was able to know that information as well and use it to his advantage. But Junxi, congratulations, 3rd win in a row. That's amazing. And we had seen it earlier that he had punched his ticket to Worlds, but just in case you did not know, he is going to Worlds. So wish him luck there. This team may be a World Championship team. Obviously, it'll be a different format at the time, but who knows? It's a really good team. On behalf of everyone here at Pokemon Labs and Psycho Turtle Collectibles, and as well as Bidoof, emotional support Pikachu, Flacoco, Dedenne, we all, and of course myself, Artie Wolf, we all thank you for watching and joining us. Come on down. We have a few more tournaments. We got one every week now, March 3rd, March 10th, and March 17th, as well as our special Pokemon Day tournament on the 27th. That's going to be fun because there's a little twist with some rental codes, and you never know what's going to happen with that. It's going to be a very, very fun team and very team exercise challenge, whatever you want to call it, but a very fun day in general. So all you guys out there, have a happy Pokemon Day, because until then, we will see you later, and thank you so much for watching. Bidoof, any last words? He's hungry. Hopefully, we're gonna go get some food. We'll see you later.